In this video, we're going to be looking at the structures that we could see on these special larynx models. So the larynx is a collection of cartilage and ligaments of all through here, and then that's going to lead into this tube called the trachea. So up here, this is the hyoid bone, kind of that vampire teeth looking bone. That's an anchoring point for muscles in the area. And these models are showing some extra muscles and the thyroid gland on one side and just plain on the other. So you can imagine both those structures on either side. So for the larynx, this biggest piece of cartilage here, the thickest piece, is called the thyroid cartilage. So it's this whole piece kind of covered up with some muscles on this side. Where this is sticking out, the point here is called the laryngeal prominence, also called the Adam's apple. The effects of testosterone are going to make this a little bit more pointed. So typically males have a more pronounced Adam's apple. So that would be like right here. Below the thyroid cartilage is this pretty thick piece of cartilage, about half the size of thyroid, called the cricoid cartilage. And this is going to go all the way around. So that's part of the cricoid cartilage. These other ones that are not going all the way around, those are wrapping around the trachea. So those are the tracheal cartilages, kind of shaped like a C. They go 3/4 the way around. So here's those tracheal cartilages. And then looking in the back, we're going to have a couple other pieces of cartilage. We have on either side here, these are called the arytenoid cartilage. So this one side is showing the muscle, but then the other side is showing it's opening up there. Arytenoid means ladle shaped. I thought it looked kind of like a ladle. Okay. I always think it kind of looked like spider pinchers, so I thought arachnoid and arytenoid were related. These are actually going to be attached to the vocal cords. Okay, it might be kind of hard to see based on the shading. You might be able to kind of see the vocal cords in there. A much better view is if we open it up. They're going to be on the inside here, this white material representing this ligament here. Those are the vocal cords or vocal folds. And that's what these arytenoid cartilages are attached to. So as the muscles move, the cartilage, that's what's going to move your vocal cord. And those are going to be allowed to vibrate against one another. And that's what creates your sound. Okay? If you think of like other instruments, as you pluck that string, that's when the sound is produced. So that's one aspect of speech. Okay? A lot of other things involved there. Kind of as it moves up through your nasal cavity, oral cavity, and then the way your tongue moves to shape different sounds. All of that is involved with speech production. And then finally in this model, you have this piece of cartilage here. This is your epiglottis. Okay, this is going to be really important. So be sure that it folds down because you don't want any food or liquid going through here, going into your airways. You want to make sure it goes behind to the esophagus, which is behind the trachea. Take this open again. Here's a cross-sectional view of that cartilage, kind of showing it in blue here, and with all the other tissue covering it. And in fact, we have another model that we'll look at. Let me kind of get this one set up. Okay, so this one's a little different. The structures are a lot bigger, but we have our nasal cavity and then our pharynx over here. Okay, here's our nose. So we got a real big piece of the larynx. Okay, this is that thyroid cartilage, laryngeal prominence or the Adam's apple. Underneath there is going to be cricoid cartilage. And then these ones are starting the tracheal cartilages. If we take this piece off, we're going to be able to see more of that epiglottis, kind of a full epiglottis here. That's covering the entry into the laryngeal opening is also called the glottis. So that's where this name came from. Epiglottis means above or upon there. It's kind of cool. We got a string we can pull. So as you swallow, that epiglottis is going to fold down, and that's going to ensure that your food is only going to be going down to the esophagus, leading to the stomach. If anything gets caught in there, so if you don't swallow fast enough, or you swallow too quickly, or you're laughing, right? Okay. Something can get caught in there. That's going to trigger a reflex. So you're going to start coughing. You don't want anything getting too far down. You want to get it out of there as soon as possible. So that's going to be the epiglottis every time you swallow. And also remember that uvula is also going to contract to prevent anything going up there. So there's only one way for that food to move whenever you're swallowing. Okay, so those are structures to know for the larynx.